This is a Santa Cruz Sasquatch.
That's just south of San Francisco, Northern California.
I remember somebody telling me about Santa Cruz. They were from Santa Cruz just after that earthquake took place in Japan, which led to their tsunami.
Fukushima disaster.
About 14 hours or so after that, they had a mini tsunami in Santa Cruz, and they said on the shoreline of Santa Cruz, they had these smaller boats on the docks, and it wasn't anything close to the tsunami, and maybe it wasn't technically a tsunami what took place in Santa Cruz. But I think there's even...
I think that really is. That technically, I think, is a tsunami. Not
yeah, maybe
the
not
proportions that they had, but it certainly is.
But it really rocked the shore and tipped over some boats.
I'm sure that most people are thinking, tsunami in Japan, that's far away. But you're having the effects happen right on the west coast of the United States. I mean, that's really surprising.
Not only that, but you were talking before about the radiological effects.
Well, that's the biggest thing, is the radioactivity that people think, well, that happened in Japan.
Explain that a little bit of background if somebody's seen this episode solely.
Why? Well, they're going into this whole...
why is there radiation?
Well, the nuclear power plant that was
affected by
the earthquake and the tsunami.
And so that leaks radiation. And
that leaks radiation and has been leaking radiation that's getting into the air and the water, and it's reaching the west coast of the United States.
And obviously affects wildlife, and even though...
that we eat, right? And that we get in the ocean, and they're currently undergoing this huge project now to test all of the... to check the levels of radiation in the seaweed forest along the west coast of the United States.
And all this affects, like we were saying, wildlife and Bigfoot. Another thing I want to get in the next episode, talk a little bit about, is how something like Mount St. Helens affected Bigfoot.
Well, think about affecting wildlife. What kind of mutations? I mean, we know about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as something that's kind of funny and fun. But there could be some serious mutations in wildlife and or humans.
Yeah, well, there's no doubt that radiation does change DNA. I mean, that's not anything that's up to debate.
I'm sure we've yet to see what the real effects of this are going to be.
Let's talk also about the Mount St. Helens earthquake and how that affect the Bigfoot population. Now, we do have photographs, recent photographs from Washington, but that was, if you've ever seen...
That was very insane.
That was an explosive...
Just covering everything.
Right. There's different types of volcanoes where they just seep lava, and that can eventually destroy a city, just like a river would flood an area, and you'd have lava flooding an area. But Mount St. Helens was literally an explosion. Let's talk about that the next episode.